let's keep going. Now let's look at these slides. This is a very important slides. It tells you the concept. It tells you your cardiovascular system is a pump connect with pipe, then connect with another pump, then pipes. And the blood flow inside, ideally the blood should not come out of these pipes. It's a closed circle. Unless you accidentally hurt yourself, your blood come out, but it's gonna cause the blood clotting, the positive feedback sequence, so quickly seal it. So ideally your blood flow inside. And you found the blood, you have the left pump and the right pump. So the right pump is deoxygenated blood, and your left pump is oxygenated blood, and connect with pipe. That's why I tell you is pumps connect with pipes and pump, and the blood flow inside. And you have the valves to make sure the blood's going one direction. And the flow, today we're going to focus on the flow, the blood flow. Flow is how much volume goes through per fixed time. The flow is constant. The flow inside the circle is constant. However, you can increase the overall flow rate. Like when you exercise, you increase the heart rate and you increase the stroke volume. Stroke volume is how much blood being sent out per contraction. You're able to increase the flow. So when you exercise, the flow increase, but the overall flow rate is constant. It's constant in every part of the body. And the blood gonna send out from the left ventricle, gonna go to the aorta, and gonna diverge out to the arterial, small artery, gonna go to the peripheral tissue. In the capillary, that's where the oxygens, CO2, waste particle, they exchange. Now they become deoxygenated blood. You go to the venule. Venules are small vein. Go back to the big vein. Eventually go to the vena cava. Go to the right side to go to the lung to carry oxygen. And in the lung also you have a lot of capillary, and they help the oxygens pass the oxygen to your blood. And now they become oxygenated blood. You're gonna go to the left side and just keep going. Now let's look at this. In your small artery, arterial, that's where you are able to regulate your blood pressure. So in the second picture I show you in this lecture, I want you to think your cardiovascular system like the pumps and pipes. And if the pipes become narrow, the pump need to increase its working force to send the blood goes through the small pipes. So in the peripheral tissue, in those arterioles, this is where you are able to regulate your blood pressure. Because if you constrict this, the pumps need to work much harder to send the blood to the small pipes. So the blood pressure, the pressure your pumps need to create is much higher. And in the autonomic nervous system, you found in this unit, we will go back to look at the autonomic nervous system a lot. We have the alpha receptor in the blood vessel. That's where they can quickly regulate your blood pressure. And when you see a bear coming towards you, your sympathetic system is activated. How your sympathetic system are able to quickly increase your blood pressure in seconds. And the most efficient way is to regulate here, arterial. It can work on the alpha receptor, beta 1 receptor, beta 2 receptor. But if the question asks you what's the most efficient way to quickly increase your blood pressure when your sympathetic system being activated, you are able to quickly deal with the emergency situation. And the answer is the alpha receptor in the peripheral. Because you just constrict those blood vessels and suddenly the pressure quickly increase. We found some people, they go to do their annual health check and they measure their blood pressure. They always have high blood pressure, and the nurse will tell them, okay, try to rest, and they get even more nervous. Their blood pressure is higher, and when they go home, they measure their blood pressure. They're fine, and they call it white coat syndrome. Every time they see people with the white coat, they are nervous, and the reason is sympathetic nervous system. So when you're nervous, sympathetic output constrict your arterial, and your blood pressure gonna be higher. And that's the quick way for your body to help you to deal with emergency situation. Because imagine those emergency situation happens, it only takes seconds and it's life or death. You want your body quickly increase your blood pressure so you are able to handle those emergency situations. And it's due to this. So when you exercise, when you're nervous, your blood pressure is higher. It's here. But it also works on this. That's the beta, right? So if I ask you, okay, how the autonomic nervous system activate, regulate your blood pressure, alpha, through alpha receptor, that's here, through beta 1, that's here, that's here. So the beta 1 receptor is in the heart. So this is a very important concept. Slides talk about the concept of the cardiovascular system. It's a closed circle, and you're able to regulate the blood pressure here through the beta 1 receptor. You're able to regulate here through the alpha receptor. And you can also regulate the total blood volume, because this is a closed circle. It's like a balloon. So when you put a lot of water into the balloon, of course the pressure will be higher. And if you let some water go, the pressure will be lower. And that's the last kind of hypertension medicine, diuretic. So why they let you pee more, so you turn the blood into urine. It's a hypertension medicine because it does not work on here, does not work on here. It works on the total volume of the blood. So now we cover the important concept we're going to talk about in chapter 15, the blood pressure regulation. You can work on the pumps, you can work on the pipes, you can also work on the liquid. That's the blood, that's a diuretic. So very important slides. Okay, now let's look at the slide, the flow. The flow. When we talk about diffusion in unit 1, the diffusion, I tell you, okay, you need a concentration gradient. The molecule going to go from the high concentration area to the low concentration area. And the diffusion stops when there is no concentration gradient. Okay, very similar here. In your cardiovascular system, you need a pressure gradient to drive the blood flow. No pressure gradient, no flow. Bigger pressure gradient, big flow. So every pipe you can find in your body, you look at the left side, you look at the right side, you take the pressure, and you found there's a pressure gradient. So the flow always have higher pressure on the left side than the right side, so it can flow from the left side to the right side. If there's no pressure gradient, no flow. When we look at the pressure and the pressure gradient in all the artery. So now you learned the blood start to go from left ventricle to aorta, from the aorta to the artery, to the arterial, capillary, venule a small vein, and the vein, and eventually vena cava. You need to have the pressure gradient. So when we take every blood vessel, compare with the left side, the right side, there is a pressure gradient. So the pressure is higher on the left side compared to the right side. Artery, the same, left side higher than the right side. Arterioles, the same. And the pressure keep dropping. And also, these are the pipes. And the aorta is the one closest to your biggest pump. And of course, the pressure is higher. And the pressure, when they go to the capillary, venule veins, it becomes lower and lower because they're pretty far away from the left ventricle. You still need to have the pressure gradient. So no pressure gradient, no flow. But when we look at the pressure, they're so low. And some people, they have difficulty to send the blood back from the vein back to the heart. Especially from the lower body, the bloods need to send back to the heart. It is actually working against the gravity from the body back. And that's why in the big vein, they also have valve. And all the valves in the cardiovascular system, they serve the same function. They want to make sure the blood flow in one direction. And those valves will help you to send the blood from the lower body back to the heart. Because the pressure in the big vein, they're so low. They're pretty far away from the pump. Okay, now let's look at the math equation. The flow depends on the pressure gradient. Also depends on the resistance. In the real life, we have resistance. And when the resistance is higher, well, the flow will decrease. And when the resistance is lower, and the flow will be faster. So it's pressure gradient in the numerator and resistance in the denominator. And now let's look at the resistance. Resistance depends on what? Depends on viscosity of the blood. So compare you use the same straw to drink smoothie and to drink water. You found it's easier to drink water because of viscosity of smoothie is much higher. So that's viscosity. So if the person's blood is too thick, actually you're gonna increase the workload of the pump because it's more difficult to send those thick blood go through the small pipes. And depends on the distance, the length, the total distance, and also depends on the radius of the blood vessel, and the radius is 2 to 4 times. For adult, most of us, we don't grow anymore, so the total length is constant. Viscosity, most of us, is constant. Unless you don't drink water, your blood becomes thicker and thicker. But most of this is constant. So the most efficient way to regulate your blood pressure is radius. Especially radius is 2 to 4 times. So that's the most efficient way to quickly increase your blood pressure. Remember, we talked about the sympathetic system through the alpha receptor. It directly works on here. It does not work on the viscosity. It does not work on the blood vessel length. It directly works on here. So let's look at one example. I give you 2 pipes, and I change the radius to 50%. I drop it to the 50% and see what happens. So when we look at it, okay, it dropped by 50%, and radius to the 4 times. So it's 2 to the 4 times 16. So I give you these 2 pipes. If I drop the radius, only the radius, I don't change the total distance, I don't change the viscosity, then what happens? And the answer is the resistance gonna increase 16 times. So efficient because it's radius to the 4 times. So it turned out, based on this equation we learned, the most efficient way for your body to work to quickly increase your blood pressure to handle those emergency situations is work on the radius. And that's the sympathetic system work on the alpha receptor. And the examples, a lot of examples, when you get nervous, your blood pressure quickly increase. When you're fighting, your blood pressure increase because the sympathetic system work on the radius. So that's the most efficient way your body quickly increase your blood pressure for you to handle those emergency situations. Work on the radius because you don't need to constrict it by 50%. You just constrict your blood vessel a little bit, and your resistance quickly increase, and now your blood pressure increase. Okay, then let's take a break.